In the quiet hours before dawn on February 5th, 2016, in a fortified server room in Manila, an alarm did not sound. A light did not flash. Instead, in perfect, undetected silence, a ghost walked through the virtual vault of the Bangladesh Bank, the central bank of a nation of 165 million people. With a few keystrokes executed from the other side of the globe, it initiated a series of transactions to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, where Bangladesh kept its US dollar reserves. The instructions were simple. Transfer $951 million to accounts in Sri Lanka and the Philippines. This was not a physical heist with masks and getaway cars. This was a digital specter, a piece of malicious code with a signature the world's intelligence agencies were beginning to recognize, a signature of starvation, missiles, and a desperate, bankrupt regime in Pyongyang. This is the story of the Lazarus Group, North Korea's royal guard of hackers, and how they engineered the most audacious, state-sponsored financial heists in history, stealing billions to fund a nuclear arsenal, one fraudulent transaction at a time. The Bangladesh bank heist unfolded with the precision of a spy novel and the chaos of a systemic failure. The hackers had spent months, perhaps years, infiltrating the bank's network. They studied its procedures, its schedules, even the brand of printer used to issue physical confirmation orders. On that Friday, they struck, issuing 35 transfer orders through the SWIFT global messaging system, the trusted nervous system of world finance. They knew a key detail. Thursday was a holiday in Bangladesh, Friday was its workday, but Saturday and Sunday were off in New York and Manila. This created a 36-hour gap where the fraudulent orders could sail through before anyone might manually check them. The Federal Reserve processed 5 transactions, sending $101 million to accounts in the Philippines. But on the 6th, a spelling error saved the day. A banker at Deutsche Bank spotted foundation misspelled as fandation and raised an inquiry, freezing the remaining $850 million. The heist was partially foiled, but the $101 million was already gone, vanishing into the labyrinth of Philippine casinos where it was converted to chips and cash, becoming forever untraceable. The digital fingerprints left at the scene pointed to a perpetrator already infamous in cybersecurity circles, the Lazarus Group. Named after the biblical figure raised from the dead, this shadowy collective first emerged in 2009, linked to devastating cyber attacks on South Korean banks and media outlets. Their tools were sophisticated, their methods patient, and their targets telling. They were not ordinary cyber criminals seeking quick profit. They were digital privateers in the service of a state. Investigators found hallmarks, specific lines of code, encryption algorithms, and network infrastructure that connected attacks from the destructive 2014 hack of Sony Pictures, Retribution for a comedy about Kim Jong-un, to attempts to steal from Polish and Mexican banks. Lazarus was a weapon of the Reconnaissance General Bureau, RGB, North Korea's premier foreign intelligence service. Under international sanctions that choked its traditional trade, North Korea had made a strategic pivot. If the world would not trade with it, it would rob the world. This was not a one-off crime, but a systemic, state-run campaign of financial warfare. The Bangladesh Heist was merely the most famous operation in a global spree. In 2017, Lazarus targeted banks in Taiwan, Costa Rica, and Chile using the same SWIFT-enabled methods. They hacked into the interbank transfer systems of Vietnam's TP Bank, but their ambition grew beyond banks. They launched cryptocurrency exchange heists, stealing $500 million from Coincheck in Tokyo in 2018. They deployed ransomware like WannaCry, which crippled hospitals and businesses worldwide in 2017, not just for chaos, but as a digital shakedown. The United Nations estimates that by 2019, North Korean hackers had stolen over $2 billion in fiat and cryptocurrency, funding an estimated 40 to 50% of its weapons of mass destruction programs. The Kim regime had built a cyber army that acted as its central bank, its mint, and its most reliable foreign currency earner, operating in a borderless domain where its physical isolation was no longer a weakness. The architecture of these heists reveals a chilling blend of ancient spycraft and cutting-edge technology. The hacker's first step was often spear phishing, sending tailored, legitimate-looking emails to bank employees with malicious attachments. A single click would install a backdoor. Once inside, they would move laterally for months, learning the network's geography, gaining administrative privileges, and lying in wait. To cover their tracks, they used bulletproof servers rented in countries with lax enforcement, and a network of money mules, often unwitting individuals recruited online, to open bank accounts and move the stolen cash. The operation was a hybrid machine, part cutting-edge code, part human greed and gullibility. Their greatest shield was deniability. The attacks were launched from IP addresses hijacked from other countries. The operatives, believed to be housed in a dedicated facility in Pyongyang, possibly under the control of Bureau 121, the global response has been a story of frustrated attribution and inadequate deterrence. While the FBI, CIA, and cybersecurity firms like Kaspersky have publicly named and sanctioned the Lazarus Group, traditional tools of statecraft are blunt against the digital adversary. You cannot impose naval blockades on lines of code. Arrest warrants cannot be served in Pyongyang. The international community has issued condemnations and expanded sanctions, but the heists continue, evolving in real time. Banks have spent billions hardening their defenses, but, as one security expert put it, North Korea risks little, a few servers, some cryptocurrency wallets, while potentially gaining hundreds of millions. The failure to stop them has legitimized cyber heists. So what is the legacy of the Lazarus Group? They have redefined the meaning of national sovereignty in the 21st century. A country can be economically isolated, yet its agents can operate with impunity inside the most secure financial institutions of its enemies. They have turned cybersecurity from a technical concern into a primary front of geopolitical conflict. The money they stole didn't just fund missiles. It funded the very regime that starves its own people. Each dollar was a transaction in a brutal calculus. Digital theft for physical tyranny. Behind the code lies a darker human engine. The hackers of the Lazarus Group are not stereotypical rogue anarchists. They are the regime's most privileged and pampered technocrats. Recruited from top universities and military schools, they are housed in Pyongyang's special districts, granted access to foreign goods and luxuries denied to the starving populace they help enslave. They are the digital era equivalent of court alchemists, tasked not with turning lead into gold, but with transmuting the world's financial data into the hard currency of regime survival. Their work directly fuels the very system that impoverishes their neighbors. The elite hacker's loyalty is purchased with a full stomach and a modern apartment, paid for by the billions stolen from hospitals, pensions, and businesses an ocean away. The ultimate target, as stated, is trust. Each successful heist is a psychological operation, a demonstration of impotence. It proves that the most sophisticated gatekeepers can be fooled, that the bedrock systems of global capitalism are porous. This damage is more than balances. It damages the confidence necessary for that system to function. When a central bank can be robbed without a single physical intrusion, it invites every other rogue state and criminal syndicate to try their hand. The Lazarus Group, therefore, is not just a thief. It is a pathfinder, blazing a trail of exploitation that others will inevitably follow. Their legacy is the blueprint, the proof of concept for financial cyber warfare, lowering the threshold for this kind of conflict and ensuring their techniques will be copied, adapted, and deployed for decades to come, long after the specific individuals behind the keyboards are gone. It means recognizing that a bank's chief information officer is now a frontline general, that a software update is a tactical maneuver, and that an employee's cybersecurity training is a vital national security protocol. The battlefields are no longer just deserts and jungles, but the server farms of Frankfurt, the trading desks of New York, and the cryptocurrency exchanges of Southeast Asia. Deterrence fails when your adversary has nothing to lose. The only viable defense is a perpetual, dynamic, and collective guard, a unity of intelligence agencies, financial institutions, and cybersecurity firms that most nations are still struggling and often failing to achieve. We are in an arms race where the defense must be perfect every single time, and the offense only needs to succeed once. Thus, the story of the Lazarus Group is the opening chapter of a new, invisible Cold War. It is a conflict measured not in troop movements or missile counts, but in blockchain transactions, patches released, and network intrusions thwarted or unnoticed. The bombs they fund are real and physical, but the war they fight is ephemeral, waged in a realm of light and data. They are the perfect weapon for a hermit kingdom, deniable, devastating, and endlessly renewable. They remind us that the greatest threats to our order no longer always march on boots. They arrive silently in an email, wait patiently in a line of code, and strike with the quiet, irrevocable finality of a redirected decimal point. If the idea of invisible armies fighting billion-dollar battles inside the infrastructure of our daily lives both terrifies and fascinates you, then you understand the world we now live in. This is the unseen war we document. For more deep dives into the shadow conflicts, secret histories, and real-world conspiracies that shape our reality, don't just watch from the sidelines. Uncover the full story. Subscribe to Unseen Real Files and hit the bell. The most important battles are often the ones you never see coming.